Caitlin, when it comes to your passing, sometimes you'll throw a pass and I'm like, where does this come from? How did you think of this? So how much is imagination and just trying stuff a big part of your development?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said, like, I'm not a very creative person, but I feel like I'm creative on the basketball floor. It's about the only time you see it. Another person in my life, like, I'm not very creative. So, I don't know, like, I like to have fun. Like, I don't know, make exciting plays. I think at times, like, I'm definitely a high risk, high reward person for sure. And, I don't know, I mean, it's not something like you're planning out as you're dribbling up the court. It kind of just happens naturally. As it's flowing, like, you know, you're trying to like, use your eyes to mess with the defender and what they're thinking too. So I think I'm definitely creative on the basketball floor, and you know, I always try some new things. I think it's finding a balance of like when it's okay to do that and during the games and when not. I think there was times versus LA, like I know there was a behind the back pass early or in the first or second quarter where we had already had a lot of turnovers. So just knowing, you know, we got to take care of the ball there. So just finding that balance too.
And one follow-up about Christie Collier, you go from growing up watching her to now being like a peer. What has that been like for you, and just seeing what she's meant to the league and how great she's been so far?
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of respect for her and what she's been able to do, and she's obviously had a tremendous season. And not only like I've been able to get to know her a little bit over the course of the last year or two. And I think she's just really hard to guard. She has every guard skill, but at the same time has a lot of post skills. So that presents a problem for us. I mean, I remember many times in the game at Minnesota, obviously she didn't play the first time we were there, but the second time we were there, where she just made some shots that you just have to live with. There aren't ways that you can guard that. You have to give her credit. I mean, she makes some tough ones. She can shoot the three, she can stretch the floor. So like, do we guard her with our 4? Do we guard her with our 5? She definitely presents a matchup issue, but I think she just plays the game the right way. You can totally tell that she's their leader. She's kind of who they look to. And she's had that team, you know, have a tremendous year.
Go Matt and Christine.
Yeah, hi Caitlin. A few weeks ago, you were saying that it was an unspoken goal in the locker room to get to the playoffs. Yesterday, you said that there's still a lot more to prove. So is it vocal now in the locker room, of maybe, you know, there's still more teams that we can chase to get better seeding, or is that still kind of unspoken?
Yeah, I don't think that's something we really talk about, honestly. Like, I feel like it's still one game at a time and just approaching the next matchup that we have. I don't think we were I wouldn't say like we were upset with how we played versus LA, but we still felt like we could have played a lot better. So I felt like there was a lot of things we could go back and learn from. And I think tonight, coming out from the start and setting the tone, taking care of the ball, getting a good start will be huge for us, because I thought versus LA, like we kind of had a careless start. Like we had some turnovers, we just weren't crisp, and I thought that kind of carried throughout the game. And obviously we found a way to win, but I thought it could have been a lot better for us. So I think for us, it's just the main focus is just every game right in front of us. I think that's kind of been what Christie has been preaching too, is every single game matters. Every single game we want to improve. And I think everybody's done a really good job of approaching it that way too.
Well, Christine and Pat.
You mentioned, you know, every game you look at and you try to just take that game, but is this one a little bigger because you beat them there, of course, even though without Collier, and then of course, what was that, a week or two ago, and you may face them in the playoffs, and just the fact that this is such a great team, and I think as Christie said, they like you are the only teams that have not only lost one game since the Olympic break. So is this a little bit bigger?
I wouldn't say it's a little bit bigger. I mean, it's tough. Like, I think this is obviously probably a very highly anticipated matchup from the standpoint. I think we're both 7-1 since the break. Like you said, the potential of us matching up in the first round of playoffs is very, very high. So I think for us, coming out and executing our schemes is going to be very important, because this is the game you're going to go back and watch if that matchup does occur in the first round of, you know, what did we execute, what didn't we execute, what will we want to take away and use once we get to that point. But at the same time, like, you're playing to win this game and win these 40 minutes. So I think that's kind of been the balance of that. But at the same time, like for us, I think everybody in the locker room would say like this is one of the hardest teams in the league to guard, with the amount of movement they have, with the way they shoot the ball, with the pace they play with. So I think for us, it's just, I don't think it's anything different, but at the same time, everybody kind of knows the circumstance. But you know, you kind of want to win the series. I think that's another little caveat to it too, is like we split so far and this is the last matchup. So you want to go out there and win on your home court too.
We got Pat, then we got Mike.
Whether it's just general ball movement or, for example, Kelsey pulling out that behind the back in Dallas, do you feel like the passing has become contagious a little bit with this team? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Kelsey try to pull that out in previous years, and the ball movement just seems to be really good right now.
Yeah, I think like we're just trying to play with a lot of pace, and honestly, like that doesn't mean just sprinting back and forth and just in transition. Like I think that means executing in the half court and playing with good tempo. Like if you don't have something, move it to the teammate, cut, move, get open. And I think we're doing that a lot better. I think at the beginning of the year, the ball just stuck. Like it stuck in people's hands. We're playing one-on-one. Like it just wasn't crisp, clean. It wasn't executed well in the half court. So I think people are setting their teammates up for success a little bit better. I think Kels is just, she has that knack too. She understands the game of basketball really well. Her IQ is really high. And I think she knew, like, once I made that pass to her in Dallas, there was really no way she could have probably got the shot off just from the angle that she was. And Liz was kind of trailing behind, so it just worked out well. So I think we moved the ball really well. I think that's why you see our assist numbers are so high. A lot of assists on high made field goals. That's exactly what you want. But I think overall it's just, moving the ball and not letting it stick. I think we've done a lot better job of that.
Last one, go with Mike.
Caitlin, you go from guards that are literally your best friends you've known for 4 years to the nature of the WNBA. Hey, here's your new teammate.
Yeah.
Did you and Kelsey Mitchell have sort of an icebreaker moment where it was suddenly like you sort of understood each other a little better? And I don't know even if it was like Ohio State, Iowa trash talking or something, but do you remember that maybe that first few weeks or so that you guys kind of had that?
That's tough. Honestly, I think it definitely took us some time to like build our relationship and trust with one another. Obviously, like she's been, the main focus of this organization for however long, and me coming in here and getting the keys to the offense and trying to make sure that works for everyone at the same time, whether that's AB, whether that's Liz, whether that's her, trying to get everybody involved while continuing to keep myself involved, I think was something I had to navigate early on. But I think, once we started playing a little bit better together and she saw the pace that we could play with, how I could set her up for success, I think that kind of naturally just built our relationship and made it a lot better. But also I think looking back at even training camp, obviously she wasn't able to participate in that just due to an ankle injury. Like she was always right there on the sidelines and somebody that I tried to go up to and go out of my way to listen and take advice from her, not only because she has it, but because like that's going to help us build our relationship. So I think that mixed with just getting the experience of playing with one another has really helped us develop a great relationship. And I think we both know, like we both have each other's best interests at heart, and it's been a lot of fun for me to play with her. So.
Yeah, hi Christie. I was just wondering if it was with Temi, if it was kind of the same scenarios tonight where, she's questionable, but you're going to rest her for precaution. I guess what's the update on that?
Yeah, no, she's good to go tonight.
Christine.
Okay. After the Olympic break, obviously it was kind of like reset and you guys just, launched yourselves into a whole nother conversation in sports and what have you. Is tonight almost like a second wave of that next step for this team?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with who we're playing tonight for that reason. We're the two teams left in the WNBA with only one loss since the All-Star break. And so, and they're a possible matchup for us in the playoffs. So, they're a really good team on both sides of the ball. And so, when you look at our team and we talk about like where we're trying to go, like some of the things that they do and who they are is like who we want to be. I just told our guys the other night, like we're not trying to prove anymore. We just have to keep improving. And that's what we have to focus on tonight, is doing that against a really good team.
Jacob, go ahead.
You mentioned this was a possible playoff matchup. Now that you're actually in the playoffs, do you view a game like this differently now, knowing that you could be playing them again in a couple weeks?
No, because of the message that we just keep, trying to be consistent with. That's one of our main words is just consistency. And that's just us just trying to make sure that we're getting 1% better. It's going to be a challenge tonight against a really good team. But yeah, just always trying to just make it about us when we can.
Christie, obviously, Caitlin's come and changed a lot of different things for this team, but with Aaliyah, how have you seen her embrace her role, which seems to morph night to night and thrive, whether it's passing, scoring, rebounding, defending, and accepting that when last year everything went through her?
Yeah, I think for me, Aaliyah's, she's been so good defensively for us. That's been the consistent thing with her, just her defense, and then I know she hadn't put up as many points up until the other night, but that's something that she's not concerned with because her teammates were shooting the hell out of the basketball, and so just really happy that she is, when she recognizes that. I mean, how many times did she catch the ball at the free throw line in a pick and roll situation and she was hitting those shooters, when she could, that's a shot that I'd never want her to turn down, that free throw line jumper. But she's just whatever the team needs in that moment. And her defense and her rebounding for me have been just consistent and huge. And we're going to keep going through Aaliyah. I say that all the time. I mean, we are going to keep playing through her, through our posts, through the paint, because that just keeps everything open on the outside.
Mike, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Christie, Kelsey's been good a long time, but this is the first time she's been in a real playoff race. And it seems like a lot of people are like really embracing her game. I know almost after every press conference, she says the same thing, I'm just a hooper, whatever.
Yeah.
But as her coach, what's it been like to see, it's been a while coming, but to see sort of the attention that she's getting nationwide?
Yeah, she deserves every bit of it and more. I'm going to say that again. She deserves every bit of it and more. That's just how solid Kelsey Mitchell has been for us on both ends of the floor. Kelsey's drawing the best offensive player for the opposing team a lot of nights, and she's able, I swear her engine just gets stronger and faster as the game goes. I mean, she's such an athlete. Her downhill attacks are the same as they are in the first, as they are in the fourth quarter after Garden, whoever it is that we put her on, that she's chasing all around. So she's just playing at a different level. And then also just the teammates that she has around her now. She doesn't feel she has to do it all anymore. And so that's just made her have a lot more, it's just not, she's getting wide open looks or having the opportunity to just get downhill when her teammates are drawing a lot of that attention. But yeah, that was for me making the playoffs this year with her. And her, I was here when we drafted her, and she's been, just here being solid, and now it's paying off for her, which is, that just makes my heart so happy.
We finish up Matt and James.
Before the break, you go to Minnesota, you win. Next time Collier comes back, scores 31. Just curious, what do you think has to go different tonight in preventing her?
We need to find somebody who can stop her and guard her a little bit. Yeah, she's a talent. I mean, she's definitely one of the, possibly MVP. I mean, she's that good. I mean, she just makes them run. And it's going to be a group effort. She can play the 3, she can play the 4, so that changes schemes for us on how we guard certain things. But you just have to make her, give her an opportunity. She'll get hot. So you can't just, close out on her as a short, make her drive it. But I just think it's going to be a group effort. A lot of communication from our team on the defensive end on who's guarding her and if we're switching or if we're not, or if we're in, whatever scheme we are, either on the side or up top. But I mean, she's a talent. She's going to get hers. We just have to make sure people like Courtney Williams and McBride don't, have really hot nights.
James, last one.
One more on Fee. You've been around the league a long time. How have you seen her grow from entering the league with high expectations and kind of delivering these last few years and really showing she's one of the best players in the world?
Yeah, I think for me, what I see, and it's just the things as a head coach that you pay attention to, especially when like culture is a huge piece for us. Like I think Fee is a great leader. I think she is what makes those guys run. I think she keeps them focused and determined. I mean, you hear her talking all the time. I read all the, articles that when she has, comments, she's their leader, and they just as she goes, they go, and that's a good one to have running that locker room.
Do you view like CC kind of like that? Okay, like just cut from that same like how we go is how she goes, or? Obviously I know she's young. I'm just curious.
Yeah. That would be something I could probably answer in a couple of years. That's a tough one to answer right now. I mean, but Caitlin being our point guard, she's our engine, right? And she's the one who's pushing the ball. She's the reason we're getting the transition points that we're getting a lot of times by her pass aheads. So yeah, I mean, she's got a lot. Fee's got several years on her, and Caitlin's still learning a lot, especially as it relates to her teammates still and the locker room as well.